Hello and welcome. In this video tutorial, I'm going to update the Pacific Trails Resort website using the existing Pacific Trails website files from Chapter 10 as my starting point to create a new version of the website. I'm going to open up the Chapter 11 assignment that is on Canvas, and I'm going to scroll down to where it says Requirements, and I'm going to download the Chapter 11 Pacific.zip folder. I'm going to save that file, and then I'm going to minimize this screen. I'm going to go to my File Explorer. I'm going to go to Downloads, and I'm just going to drag that folder to my desktop. I'm going to right-click on this folder, and I'm going to extract it. I'm going to leave this to the side for just a minute. I'm going to take the zipped folder, and I'm going to just throw it in the trash. I don't need this. And I'm just going to empty my trash can. I'm going to open up the CIS 152 folder, and this is where all of my work that I'm using in my code editor. I'm going to right-click on my Chapter 10 folder, and I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to right-click in here, and I'm going to paste. I'm going to right-click on this Chapter 10 copy, and I'm going to rename this. And I'm going to rename this to Chapter 11 and select Enter. I'm going to open this folder, and I'm going to right-click on the CH10 Pacific folder and right-click, and I'm going to rename this. And I'm going to rename this CH11 Pacific. And I'm going to double-click on this folder. I now have the CH Pacific folder that's over on the left-hand side. I have that open. I'm going to just double-click on this, and the folder that I want, there are two of them. I want the gallery folder and the video. Now notice this Chapter 11 was nested. So it's a Chapter 11, this Pacific folder over here, and then it's nested inside of it. So I'm just going to drag the gallery into my Chapter 11 Pacific that's in my CIS 152 folder and the video. And then I'm going to go ahead and close that. And I'm going to close this, and then this Chapter 11 Pacific folder that only has the gallery and the video files, I'm just going to go ahead and drag that to my recycle bin. And I'm going to delete that. I'm going to open up my code editor, and notice when I opened it, the Chapter 11 folder appeared in my file tree. And if I open up that folder, the CH11 Pacific has my gallery, my images, and my video folder. Perfect. Just what I was looking for. I'm going to begin with Task 2, and I'm going to configure a transition for the navigation hyperlink caller. So I'm going to open up my pacific.css file, and I'm going to look for the nav A element selector. And after the text decoration none property, I'm just going to select Enter, and I'm going to add a new property name, and it's going to be transition. And I'm just going to hit the down arrow key and select transition from my drop down menu and select Enter. And the values are going to be caller to target the menu list items. I'm going to use the 3 seconds, so 3S, as the duration, and then I'm going to use ease out. So I'm just going to use the down arrow key, and I'm going to select Enter, and these are the styles for my nav A. I'm going to save this file, Control S. I'm going to right-click on my index.html, and I'm going to select Open with Live Server. When I view my web page in a browser and I hover my mouse over the navigation links, you can see a gradual change in the color of the text. All right, let's go back and work on the next task. I'm going to go back into Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to open up the index.html file. I'm going to add a video element to our page and style it using CSS Flexbox so that it looks great on both large and small screens. I'm going to scroll down to the main element, and I need to update the main element by giving it a class of main content. Class main content. This helps us specifically target the main area of the page in our CSS rather than styling all main elements globally. Using a class makes our layout more modular and easier to maintain. I'm going to go to the next line and I'm going to type in inside this main element, I need to add a new div with the class content.content row and tab. This div acts as a flex container for the row layout that will hold the two main pieces of content, the text and the video. By making this a flex container, we can easily create a two-column layout on larger screens and automatically stack the items on smaller screens. I'm going to cut this closing div, Control X. I'm going to go all the way to where I find the address and I'm going to paste. I'm just going to format. I'm going to go back up to where I have div class content row and I'm going to add in a return and I'm going to add in another class. And the class is going to be dot text dot content and I'm going to select tab. So I've added in another div. This div clearly identifies the text portion of the row, allowing us to apply styles such as spacing, minimum width, and flexible growth so the text adjusts smoothly alongside the video. It also wraps all the text elements, making it easy to style them independently from the video. I'm going to go ahead and cut this closing div, Control X. I'm going to go above the address and I'm going to go ahead and paste. Now between these two closing divs, I'm going to give myself some space and I'm going to add in my video element. The video element allows a browser to play video files without any plugins or external players. The basic structure is video and then tab. I'm going to remove the word source and I'm going to type in controls. And I'm also going to add in poster. And the poster is going to equal, it's in the video folder, so it's going to be video, the Pacific Trails Resort JPEG. And after this closing quotation mark, I'm going to add in an attribute of width. And it's going to be 320. And then after the closing quotation mark, I'm going to add in height, and it's going to be 240. Here's what these attributes do. The controls attribute tells the browser to show the play, pause, and volume buttons below the video. The poster attribute shows an image while the video is loading. In this case, we're using Pacific Trails Resort.jpg. The width and height attributes set the size of the video player. Here I've chosen 320 by 240 pixels. I'll go to the next line, and before the closing video tag, I'm going to put in a return, and I'm going to type in source, tab, and it's going to be video Pacific Trails Resort MP4, and the type is going to be video MP4. The source, the SRC attribute, points to the video file location. The type attribute tells the browser the format of the file, like video/MP4. Source, and it's going to be video, and it's going to be the Pacific Trails Resort OGV file. And then after this closing, it's going to be the type OGG. Adding multiple formats ensures maximum browser compatibility. Finally, we include a fallback text inside the video element. So on the next line, I'm going to write, sorry, your browser does not support embedded videos. This will show if someone's browser cannot play the video. Make sure all of this content is inside of the closing video tag. I'll save my file, Control S. I'll go back out to my browser. You'll see the video with a poster image and native controls. Right now it looks basic because we haven't added any CSS styling yet. I'm going to go back into my code editor. I'm going to open up my pacific.css file and I'm going to scroll down before the first media query. And I'm going to put in some returns. I'm going to add some base styles to make the video part of a two-column Flexbox. I'll create the Flexbox container, which will be content-row. This will be the flex container for the main content row. I've added in a comment above the content row that says flex container for the main content row. I've added in my class, which is content row. The display flex turns the container into a flex box, allowing its children, the video and the text, to sit side by side naturally. The flex wrap ensures that if there isn't enough horizontal space, the items will wrap to the next line instead of overflowing. The gap 2M adds 2M space between the video and the text so they don't stick together. The align items flex start aligns the items at the top of the row, which keeps everything neat if one item is taller than the other. The margin bottom 2M adds space below the row, separating it from the content that comes after it, for instance, the address section. Next, I'll add the video styling. I'm going to add a comment, video styling. I'm just going to highlight this and then Control / to add my comment in. And this is going to be .content row video. I'm going to add in the styles for this property. This block styles the video element inside the content row class container. The flex 320 pixels. This is a flex hand shorthand that sets three things. The flex item will not grow, will not shrink, and will stay fixed at 320 pixels wide. The margin 2M adds space around the video so it doesn't bump into the text or other elements. The max width 100% makes the video responsive so it won't shrink to fit smaller screens instead of overflowing. The border radius 0.5M rounds the corner of the video for a polished look. The box shadow adds a subtle shadow behind the video, giving it a depth and making it stand out. Currently, the transition property has no visible effect. For practice, create a hover state by targeting the video with a :hover selector. Use transform and box shadow to make the video grow slightly and the shadow deepen when hovered. Experiment with these values to see how smoothly the effect animates. After this closing brace, I'm going to add in a space and I'm going to add in another comment, text content styling. I'm going to triple click on this and select Control / and this is going to be text content flex 1, and this tells the text container to take up all the remaining space in the row after the video. It's flexible, so if the browser window gets wider, the text area grows to fill it. The next property is going to be min width 250 pixels. And this prevents the text column from shrinking too small on narrower screens, ensuring that the text remains readable and doesn't get cramped. I'm going to save my work, Control S, and I'm going to go back to my browser. As you can see, I now have my video on the right-hand side. Now I haven't added in any responsive styling, so if I select Inspect, Responsive Design Mode, it stacks, but not exactly what I'm looking for. So let's see how this looks. And let's see if we can do just a little bit better on styling this. I'm going to go back into my code editor, and I am going to open up my index.html, my show preview. I'll go back to my Pacific Styles. I'll close my File Explorer. And after the last code block, I'm going to go ahead and put it in. I'm going to add in my responsive designs. So I have my comment, and my first one is going to be an @media, and it's going to be a max width of 700 pixels. Inside the media query, I want to target the content row container and change its flex direction to column. This means instead of the video and text sitting side by side, they will stack vertically with the text on top and the video below. My next style will target the video itself. I want it to fill the full width of the screen, so I set width to 100%. I also set max width 100% to make sure it doesn't overflow the container. Finally, I added a small margin on the top and bottom with margin 1em and 0 to keep things looking clean and spaced nicely. You may have noticed that I'm using pixels in the media query rather than rem units. The reason is simple. Pixels are absolute and predictable. They refer to the actual screen width. Media queries usually target device sizes, so using pixels ensures our layout switches exactly where we want it. If we used rem instead, the breakpoint could shift depending on the user's browser font settings, and that could make the layout change at the wrong screen size. The result of these CSS styles is a layout that's fully responsive. On desktop screens, the video sits on the right and the text on the left in a two-column layout. On smaller screens, the video stacks and expands to fill the full width. This keeps our content readable and visually appealing on any device. Our final task is to add an image gallery to the activities page, which will make it more visually appealing. Let's open the activities page and keep the show preview open. I'll scroll down to the closing div tag just before the closing main tag to begin adding the gallery. I'll add in a comment for this section. Gallery section. And I'll triple click on this and I'll hit Control / to add a comment. First, we need a container for our gallery. We'll use a section element and give it a class of gallery. So section, a period, and gallery, and tab. Inside this section, we'll add a figure and we'll give this figure a class of gallery image. Each figure will hold an image tag for the picture and a figcaption element for the caption text. My next line, img tab, and the source is going to be gallery, and then photo 1 JPEG, so it's giving me a hint, so I'm going to hit the tab key. The alternative tag is going to be San Francisco Bridge. I'm going to close my File Explorer, give me a little bit more room. And after this closing tag, I'm going to go ahead and type in fig caption, and it's giving me a hint. And this fig caption is going to be the San Francisco Bridge, so I'll just hit tab. And I'll save that. And you can see I've added my first picture, and here is my caption. Now I'm going to go ahead and highlight this content here from the beginning figure to the closing figure. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to copy this, so Control C, and then I'm going to add in a couple spaces and paste. And this is going to be photo 2, and photo 2 is going to be called Rocky Coastline. And then the fig caption is going to be Rocky Coastline. I'll take the hint. And I'll save this. And I'll go after this closing figure tag. I'll add in some more space. And I'll go ahead and I'll select tab. And this is going to be Gallery Photo 3. And Gallery Photo 3 is going to be called Sunset on the Coast. And yes, I'll update my fig caption. So I'll save this and I'll scroll down and you can see that I have 3 images in here currently. I'm going to go after this closing figure. I'm going to paste, and this is going to be photo 4. Yes, photo 4. I'll get rid of San Francisco Bridge. The alt tag, this is going to be called Waterfall near Big Sur. So Gallery Photo 4 is going to be Waterfall near Big Sur. And after the closing figure, I'll go ahead and add another one and this is going to be called, so this is photo 5, and photo 5 is going to be called Big Sur Coastline. My fig caption is going to be Big Sur coastline. After this closing figure tag, I'm going to put in a return. And this one is going to be photo 6. And this is going to be sunset on the coast. Sunset on the coast. And sunset on the coast. And I'll scroll down. I'll look at my work. And so far that looks great. So that's it for the HTML code. I'll save my work, Control S to save. And I'm going to open up my File Explorer. I'm going to go to the Pacific CSS. I'm going to scroll down to right before the responsive design for video comment is, and I'm going to add in a space, and I'm going to add in some styles. For the gallery, we are going to use CSS Grid. CSS Grid makes it easy to arrange images in neat rows and columns that automatically adjust to the screen size. It handles spacing and alignment for us, keeping the gallery consistent, flexible, and responsive. Much simpler than using floats or manually sizing images. I'm going to type a comment. It's going to be called Gallery Grid Layout. And I'm just going to triple click on this, and I'm going to comment that out. I'm going to turn off my show preview because it's interrupting my video taping. I recommend that you keep it open while you're typing though. My first class is going to be Gallery. The Gallery class is styling the container that holds all the images in our gallery. The display grid tells the browser that this container will use CSS Grid for its layout. CSS Grid is a layout system that allows us to arrange items in rows and columns automatically, without manually floating or positioning each element. This is perfect for galleries because it keeps things aligned and flexible. Gap 1M creates consistent space between each grid item. In this case, the images and their captions. Using the 1M means the gap is relative to the current font size, which helps keep spacing proportional across different devices and font settings. The grid template columns defines how many columns your grid will have and their widths. The repeat 1FR is a shortcut that says, create one column that takes up all available space. The 1FR stands for one fraction of the available space, so there's only one column. It stretches to the full width of the container. This is a mobile-first approach on small screens. All images stack vertically in a single column for easy readability. Margin 2M adds 2M of space above and below the gallery. This ensures the gallery doesn't stick directly to the elements above or below it, giving the page a clean, open layout. I'm going to go after the closing curly brace, and I'm going to add in a new comment. It's going to be Gallery Image Container. I'm going to triple click on this and Control / to make my comment. The gallery image container styles include the position relative. The position relative sets the gallery image container as a reference point for absolutely positioned elements inside it. In this gallery, we often use a figcaption overlay that sits on top of the image. By setting the container to relative, any position absolute elements inside, like the caption, will be positioned relative to this container, not the entire page. Overflow hidden ensures that any part of the image, caption, or hover effect that extends beyond the edges of the container is clipped. This is especially important for hover animations where the image might scale up slightly. Without overflow hidden, it could spill out and break the layout. Border radius gives the container smooth, rounded corners, which makes the gallery feel more modern and visually polished. The 0.5 makes the rounding proportional to the text size, keeping it responsive and consistent with the design. The box shadow adds a soft shadow behind the image container, giving the gallery a sense of depth and layering. The 0 pixel is for the horizontal offset. The shadow is centered left or right. The 4 pixel vertical offset shadow appears below the container. The 10 pixel blur softens the edge of the shadow. And the 0.5 at the end is for the alpha setting, and it sets it to a semi-transparent black for a subtle effect. The background white ensures that if the image has any transparency or smaller than the container, it won't show the page's background behind it, keeping the gallery clean. The transition applies a smooth animation where certain CSS properties change, like transform. For example, if you hover over the image and scale it slightly or move it, the change happens smoothly over 3 seconds rather than instantly, giving a polished and professional feel. I'm going to go after this closing curly brace, and I'm going to add in images. I'm going to highlight this. The gallery image property styles the image. The width 100% makes the image stretch to completely fill its parent container, which is the gallery image class. This ensures that each image matches the size of the figure box, keeping the gallery neat and aligned. Because we use width 100%, the image will resize automatically if the container width changes, like on smaller screens. The height auto ensures the image keeps its original proportion when resizing. Without this, the image could stretch or squish vertically, which would look distorted. Together with width 100%, it creates a fully responsive image that scales nicely across devices. By default, images are inline elements. Inline elements can create small, unwanted gaps below the image caused by baseline alignment in the layout. Display block turns the image into a block level element, eliminating the gap and aligning perfectly inside its container. Object fit cover ensure the image fills the container without stretching. If the container shape doesn't match the image aspect ratio, the image will be cropped at the edges, keeping it centered and visually appealing. This is especially useful in galleries where all images should look uniform in size and shape, regardless of the original photo dimension. Transition, transform, 3 seconds, ease. The transition adds a smooth animation for the transform property. The 3 seconds, the 0.3 second ease, means the animation takes 0.03 seconds and starts and ends gradually for a natural, professional feel. I'm going to go after the closing curly brace. I'm going to type in a new, and this is going to be for the gallery image fig caption. The gallery image class on the fig caption. The position absolute allows the fig caption to sit on top of the image instead of taking up space in the normal document flow. It is positioned relative to the parent container, which in this case is the gallery image class, which has a position of relative. This is what makes the caption hover over the image rather than pushing it down. Bottom 0 sticks the caption to the bottom edge of the image. Left 0 aligns the left edge of the caption with the container. Width 100% ensures the caption stretches across the entire width of the image, making it look like a solid bar overlaying the image. Background RGBA with the 0.6 for the alpha gives the caption a dark overlay while still allowing some of the image to show through, so 60% opacity. This improves readability because white text over a semi-transparent dark background is easy to see over any image. The color makes the text white, contrasting against the dark overlay. The padding 0.5 em adds space inside the caption so the text isn't cramped against the edges. The font size 0.9 rem makes this text slightly smaller than the default, which often looks proportional and neat on top of images. The text-align center centers the text horizontally, which is visually appealing for a caption bar. The opacity 0 makes the caption completely invisible when the page loads. This sets it up for a hover effect. It only becomes visible when the user hovers over the image. Transition defines how the caption animates when it appears or disappears. The opacity 0.3 ease makes the caption fade in and out smoothly over 3 seconds. And the transform 0.3 seconds ease allows any movement like sliding to be smooth as well, giving a polished effect. I'm going to go after the closing curly brace, and I'm going to add in a hover effect. The gallery image class hover fig caption. This selector targets the fig caption only when its parent, the gallery image class, is being hovered. That means the caption remains hidden until the user moves their mouse over the image, creating an interactive experience. It relies on the parents having hover rather than the caption itself, which ensures the entire image area triggers the effect. The opacity 1 makes the caption fully visible. Because the fig caption has transition opacity 3 seconds ease from previous CSS, this change fades the caption in smoothly over 3 seconds instead of appearing abruptly. This is what gives the elegant fade-in effect. The transform translate Y 0 moves the caption back to its intended position at the bottom of the image. Because we have transition transform 3 seconds ease, the caption slides up smoothly while fading in instead of popping in suddenly. The result of this is the caption fades in while moving up, creating a subtle, professional overlay effect. Let's go ahead and save our work. Control S. I'm going to go ahead and open my Activities HTML. I'm going to go ahead and close my File Explorer, and I'll open up my Show Preview. And this is kind of what it will look like on a smaller screen. So next what we're going to do is add in the CSS that will make this into rows. Right now we're just displaying in columns. I'll go back to my Pacific CSS. I'll scroll down to after where I have my last gallery image hover fig caption style, and I'm just going to put in some space. In my CSS, I want to control how many columns appear on different screen sizes. I want 2 columns for screens that are 900 pixels wide and larger, and 3 columns for screens that are 1200 pixels wide and larger. Why use pixels here? We use pixels here because breakpoints tied directly to screen width are easier to predict for devices like tablets and laptops. Rems are relative to font size, which can vary, so pixels give us more consistent control for a visual layout like this gallery. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create my @media query. So I'm going to type @media, and this is going to be a min width of 900 pixels. This media query applies under certain conditions, in this case when the viewport width is at least 900 pixels. The min width 900 pixels is often used for medium-sized screens like tablets in landscape mode or smaller desktop monitors. Media queries allow the gallery layout to adapt responsively so it looks good on different devices without manually resizing images. The gallery class is our container holding all the gallery images, which we've already set to display grid. The grid template columns repeat to 1 fraction changes the grid layout to 2 columns of equal width. The repeat to 1 fraction is shorthand for 1 fraction, 1 fraction, which means 2 columns, each taking up 1 fraction of the available space. 1FR is a flexible unit that grows or shrinks to fit the container, ensuring the columns remain evenly sized. So essentially on screens wider than 900 pixels, the gallery will switch from a single column to 2 columns, using the extra horizontal space efficiently. So I'm going to copy this entire rule, Control C, and I'm going to paste, and I'm going to change this to 1200 pixels, and it's going to repeat 3. So this is going to be for when the viewport width is at least 1200 pixels. I'm going to save my work, and I'm going to go to my File Explorer, open the activities, and open with Live Server. All right, so this is what it looks like so far on a large screen, and I'm going to right click and say Inspect, choose Responsive Design Mode, and I'm just going to scale this, and this is on less than 1200 pixels. So notice it's right here, it's less than 1200 pixels. And then what happens when it gets to less than 900 pixels? And less than 900 pixels, it goes down to 1 image. And then here is our caption overlay. By using semantic figure and figcaption elements, along with CSS Grid, hover effects, and responsive media queries, we've created a gallery that looks great and functions well on any device. The images automatically adjust to the screen size, captions appear elegantly on hover, and the layout remains clean, modern, and easy to navigate. With the video and image gallery in place, our Pacific Trails Resort website is now more engaging and visually appealing. The video stays responsive on any screen, and the gallery showcases scenic views in a clear, accessible layout. Together, these features demonstrate how semantic HTML and responsive design can enhance a website, highlight content effectively, and create a user-friendly experience. Thank you for watching.